Alright, welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Lady Nyca, and with American Horror Story 1984, Season 9, Episode 2, Mr.Jingles. Now, child, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna have to do about 27 Hail Marys before and after each one of these episodes. But here we are. Child, I think I got everything down. Y'all get me together in the comments if anything seems off. But we open up with Karen, the lady from the insane asylum that comes to Camp Redwood to talk to Margaret and let her know Mr. Jingles has escaped. Karen is urging her to close the camp because Mr. Jingles got a weird obsession with her and he wants revenge. Margaret does not intend to close the camp because she says she wants to live her life free without fear and she's not allowing him to scare her. So Miss Karen goes to leave. Tire blows out. But we gonna get to that. Margaret said if he's stupid enough to show up to that camp again at this point, he won't survive. God helps those who help themselves. So Karen leaves, gets up the road, tire blows out, and then she see this pickup coming, supposedly to help her with her tire. But child, it's Mr. Jingles, honey. When she let her, first she had put her windows up, she was nervous. But then she ended up letting it down and seeing him, and she immediately called him Benjamin. And he wasn't feeling the fact she followed him there, so he bust the window, snatched her ass up out of there, and child stabbed her ass and cut her ear off. So bye, Miss Karen, girl. It was nice to see you for the 2 episodes we did. Now, back in the council's quarters, they all drinking and, chilling. And Brooke notices the TV, which is on, and it's reporting a murder at that gas station. So she listens in. Then she tells them about it because by the time she got their attention, it was on the damn commercial. They saying it could be the same person killing folks in L.A., she says, and she feels like the man coming looking for her, and she's scared. Xavier and crew kind of make light of it because, Karen, in their mind, Brooke been saying a lot of stuff. She said she was on the phone. She heard keys when it was ringing. Then she said the man was after her in the rain, but they didn't see anything. But Brooke saying, look here, let me tell you one thing for certain and 2 things for sure. I ain't crazy. I know what I'm saying. She didn't make this stuff up. It's happening. Then Margaret comes in talking about fraternization, and Brooke said they all may be in danger. Margaret said, of course. She says they are they are always in danger because they living in sin. And they explained Brooke had been freaked out lately, and she probably got a prank call, and that's what's got her all up in her feelings. Margaret tells them that the locals thinks that she's nuts for reopening that camp, but she's determined to have a place that purifies their soul, and she not living in fear. Then she goes into this holy talk about men going to their quarters and for them to shower at night, washing off all impurities. They can wake up pure in the morning. Child, Margaret about crazy as Mr. Jingles. Mark my words. Let's keep going. She runs off the men, and Brooke and Montana have a chance to talk. Montana tells her that she understands how Brooke feels, and in light of the attack at her apartment, she don't need to worry. She's safe, and that what she's experiencing right now could be the trauma from what she experienced in her apartment. Child, we flash to a scene at that point. It's a wedding day. Brooke and some guy she said was the first guy she ever kissed. I think his name was Joey. Apparently, they about to get married. She said she loved him and wanted everything to just be perfect. She said Joey could be a bit possessive, but she didn't think much of it. That's just love. But when it came time for Joey to say I do to her, he got real quiet. We see one of his groommen that he calls Sam tell him, don't be scared, this is what you've been waiting on. And Joy basically tell him that, I seen you. He saw him at Brooke's house the night before, and he was on his way over there actually to tell her how much he was looking forward to being her husband and spending his life with her. But he saw Sam go inside and he didn't come out until morning. Now Sam and Brooke saying that he slept on the couch, nothing happened. He said that he started squeezing her hands and talking about he thought they were gonna save each other, save themselves for each other. And she said they are. But Joy didn't believe her. Child, we see Joy pull out a gun and shoot Sam and another man in the head as the wedding goers just start dispersing, screaming in fear. Then he tells Brooke, "Look at what you made me do," and shot himself right in front of her, his blood splashing all over her wedding gown. Brooke said Joy wanted to control. Montana said Joy wanted to control Brooke the entire time, right? Brooke says, but she wasn't trying to sleep with Sam. She just didn't want to be alone that night. But she never would cheat on Joey. She said no one ever believes her. They didn't believe her now, and they don't believe her now. This crew here. Montana said, actually, I do believe you. And then she went in to try to kiss the girl. Now, we know Brooke ain't into females. She told us that episode 1 when Montana was eyeing up her body down to the shower at the gym place, right? So, child, this girl is traumatized, yes, but she don't want no lip locking with you, girl. So she moved away from him and walked away. Now, the men headed down to the shower quarters, and Trevor talking about hitting first base with Montana. Then they get to the shower location and find that there are no soap or no towels, and Margaret then has turned the camp lights off, as she said she would, in 20 minutes. Child, some older man named Blake come up to the camp to see Xavier, and we learned that that's the person who had threatened him on the phone call when he called his voicemail at the gas station before they got to Camp Redwood. This is the man that was on the phone saying you can't just take the peen and run it away. Child, Blake said he found Xavier in a park with a needle in his arms and pants wet from his own piss. He said, I cleaned you up. He also said, if you're going to try running from me, the least you could do is not leave your forwarding address with the studio for your checks. Xavier said he don't want to do the type of acting Blake want him to do. What I got from this is Blake has done a gay porn that Blake has taped. But see, he's serious about his acting. He not gay and he don't want to do gay for pay. Blake said he offered him stardom, but Xavier say he don't want it like that. He wants to be a real actor, so he tells Blake he's not doing it anymore. He gets out of the car. Blake follows him, knocks him down to the ground, and tells him, you'll do what Daddy tell you to do, or I will send a copy of this porn tape to all your friends and all of your employers. Xavier offers to find someone better, and Blake seemed interested in that. Now, the other group guys are down to the shower area cleaning, while Xavier and Blake has now returned to the shower area, and Blake is looking into this little peephole, eyeing the men, namely Trevor. I guess that's who he's offering up. Blake's so into watching Xavier. He's so into watching Trevor. Child, he don't realize that Xavier has run off, and that allowed who I assume to be Mr.Jingles to roll up and stab him dead in the back of his head. Just stabbed him up, child. Now, Brooke out by the lake sitting down. She on the dock, feet just dangling, and what seems to be a body brushes her feet. It scared her, so she yells and gets up to leave when she saw old boy from the apartment attack, the Night Stalker. I told you Satan would lead me to you. And he started walking towards her and tried to stab her, but missed. She was able to run off, child. She got off. He chased her, but she got away. And the hiker reappeared out of nowhere. Well, child, he pulled his slice out and killed him quick as fuck. But how about old boy didn't die? Now we got Nurse Rita at the infirmary stocking supplies, listening to Jump by the Pointer Sisters. Child, I used to love that song. And I, once again, am telling my age, but who gives a damn? I was bouncing, child, and fearing for Nurse Rita all at the same time. Then she hears footsteps and keys and immediately was aware. Brooke made it to the phone, tried to call out, but the phone not working. Then a Montana appears and says, well, maybe the phone ain't working because Margaret cut the power. Brooke says that the Night Stalker found her and attacked her on the dock. I don't think Montana believed it at first. She trying to convince Montana that he was indeed there, and then they all hear yell that Montana says is Ray, so they run toward the yell. Outside the showering area, they done discovered Blake dead with a hole in his head, and they all freaked out. Child, they telling a freaked out Ray to check his pulse, which he did, and the man is dead to the ground. Brooke and Montana make it there, and Xavier said they need to do something, try to help him. He went to touch him, but they telling him, don't touch their body, child, they could think you involved. Baby, that guilt that is so deep inside Xavier for this life he been living comes straight out. He started talking about, I ain't never met the man before. I don't know. Why would they accuse me of that? I'm like, boy, you telling your tea. That's how they gonna know you got something to do with it. Montana said Brooke was right about the Night Stalker. Brooke saw him by the dock, and Brooke added that he attacked me and that it's a body in the lake. They initially said they were going to go look for Margaret and tell her, but child, they decided to haul ass to the mystery van to get the hell out of Dodge. Margaret goes to her quarters, and old boy, the Night Stalker, is in her quarters and say, he a servant of the Lord. She said, are you a Christian? He said, no, I'm the other one, the one he cast out. She said, Satan, and asked what he wanted. He said for her to tell him about Mr.Jingles. Child, she notices he hurt and gets her first aid kit. And he said that, she asked him what his name. He said, my name is Richard Ramirez. I said, Lord, not Richard Ramirez on the American Horror Story 19. Come on, Ryan Murphy. Come on with this writing and timeline. Real people. Okay. Well, child, she tended to his wounds, telling him that he seems to be a good guy, probably did well in school. He said, no, actually, I dropped out. And then says he killed this guy, and he knows it. Now, Margaret say, I'm telling you, Margaret crazy. You got to be crazy not to be scared. And she asked if it was the first time he killed someone. He said, no, but it's the first time I'm going to have to do it twice. And Margaret did what? Margaret told him, when he said he got to do it twice, she said because of Jesus. Then she said the person that he's saying he killed died 14 years ago, and she saw his lifeless body. Okay? Richard says that makes no sense. She said, well, she wants to make it make sense. She asked him what was the worst thing ever happened to him. He didn't want to say right away, but she assured him she'd be one of the ones to actually listen to him. So he said, the worst thing ever happened to me was life. I've known nothing but pain. The world spoke to me in pain, and I feel it's only right that I return the favor and answer in pain. Just crazy as hell, he and Margaret, if you ask me. Then we go back to his backstory. His mother worked in a boot factory, inhaling fumes while pregnant with him. He took all them chemicals in, and he was poisoned before he was ever born. Then we see him as a kid playing ball with what we learn is his cousin from the military that was living with them. Threw the ball. Cousin threw the ball back out for him to go fetch it, and when he did, he ended up getting hit in the head with a wooden swing. Now, that wooden swing, after getting hit with that, he started having really bad seizures. And his cousin was, as I said, a Green Beret, just returning from Vietnam. And he showed him pics of females that he killed while in the military. Now, the wife didn't like him showing him all that, but Richard say his cousin was teaching him how to live life free. Margaret said all that had to happen to make him the man that he is today, which is what brought him to her. He said, no, actually a girl brought me here, but I think I like you better. She says she understands Richard, and she told him, you can use God to explain away a lot of things, good and bad. So you won't have to feel bad, is what Richard said. She said, exactly. She said, all he needs is two things to be able to roam this life freely. You need to use God and trauma. Yeah, Margaret back here crazy because she basically setting him up to do some stuff. He says the first person who ever really listened to him was her. Then she said she need him because this man can't be allowed to hurt children. She said he must be stopped now, and she will look for that counselor lady that he talking about, but it must not be any killing at that camp. It's been enough. Child, it already done been some. Okay. Child, we all see them piling into the mystery van, the crew now. And Chet must have felt like the end was near, because he went there admitting, child, tell me I did do steroids. Now, nobody gave a damn because they knew he did. The mystery van acted like it wasn't going to start, but when it did finally start, they all was excited thinking they were about to get away, only to wreck immediately. And did they hit Rita? Child, but Rita was okay if they did hit her. Because Rita said it's okay because he's there now. She knows it. She said she thought she locked him up into the infirmary until she heard the keys jingling. Now the mystery van won't start, but Rita says she got a rabbit. It ain't gonna fit them all, but they got a rabbit. And I think Trevor has a motorcycle, but peep game. Both sets of keys are back in the cabins. And they got two killers they know now is on the loose in the campgrounds, but they all agree they got to get the keys, so they split up into groups and agree to meet back there. Margaret ends up running into the hiker she called Jonas, and she was shocked he's still alive. He remembered her too. He said he thought she was dead. She asked him, "You might wait a minute, baby. What year is this?" He said 1970. Child, I believe he is still alive. He is a ghost, and Margaret feels the same. He said he was running because he saw so much blood back then. He said he saw her, and he should have helped her, but he left her to die. Then we see a scene of him running, getting hit by a truck. A man with the keys come out, and Jonas now understands that he may actually be dead and is a ghost. And Margaret say he probably would have stayed in the spot he was in where he was killed at had the moron counselors not picked him up. So Jonas said so many people died, he just now feels like because he did nothing, he was a coward. Child, you was dead, Jonas. We see Brooke and Rita and her crew make it to the infirmary. Rita quickly said, "I'm scared, I ain't going in there." They told Chet to go because he's an athlete and probably could fight off better, but child, he pussy. He pussy too. So Brooke says she'll go in, and Rita tell her the keys on the desk, but when she go in there, they can't find the keys. Over with the other crew, Montana, Xavier, and Trevor, they're at the place to get his keys. Child, Xavier is having a moment again, talking about he never wanted any of this to happen. He just wanted some fun for the summer. He said this was all his fault and admitted that he knew Blake, and now he feels because of him, Blake is dead. Meanwhile, Richard is roaming the campgrounds. He done found the little signs to tell you where everything is. Then both sets of people hear him banging at the door. Now they don't know who that is at that door, child. They scared. But nobody knows who's on the other side of each door. But we gonna find out next week because that's where it cut off at. I tried to go scene by scene as best I could. I'm sure I left something out. You guys know that you can always discuss it with me down in the panic section, aka the comments. Yes, God, honey, you can. And I'm going to get on up out of here because I got some news stories. I got to go find out why Malik Yoba done walked out on an interview, child. So that'll be coming up. We'll have a little commentary on that. But as for reviews, I have reached my stopping point for the week. I have no more reviews that are due. Everything is up. I am current now, and I hope you guys enjoy the commentary, and I look forward to seeing what you guys think down in the panic section. I really do. Remember, as always, in closing, the depth of your struggle will determine the height of your success. In the meantime, in between time, please remember to rate the video because ratings get me recognized on the YouTube streets. Comment down below in the panic section. Let me know what you think about this season so far. Let me know, did I hit everything on the head? Do I got anything confused? Y'all get me together in the comments. I don't mind. And if you have not subscribed to this channel or my Lady Nyca live channel, please subscribe to both channels today. Also tap your notification bell buttons to where it's set to all on both channels so that each and every time that I go live from either channel or upload a video, you guys are going to get the notification and you can come over and join in the conversation. In closing, I appreciate all of the support. I know you guys have seen me do a complete turnaround. This is what I do. I ain't with that beefing sector, so I appreciate you guys who understood why I had to do what I had to do. Like I said, sometimes change don't come easy, but it must come. Okay? And I'm too blessed to be stressed all every day. This is what I like to do. This is my juice. It's no disrespect or nothing bad toward anyone else. This is just my lane, and I decided that I'm gonna ride and drive on this lane. This is my lane right here. What y'all been getting the last couple of days. This is my lane, and I'm gonna stay in it. And I also learned something very important about myself as far as being on the YouTube streets. I've learned that I don't need a crowd. I don't need a crew. I'm a solo dolo act. And I'm at my best when I'm like this. So thank you all for understanding my journey to getting back to me. Thank you all for anybody who's ever helped me on my journey. But I got to play with the hand that was dealt me. Have a great remainder to your Thursday. I will see you guys tomorrow. I probably won't drop anything on either channel anymore today. Check both channels out. Both have new content on both channels, and I will try to keep that up. Each day there's going to be something new on each channel, even if it's a 2-3 minute video or a quick live. I will give you the content that I am most comfortable giving. And for you all that come and fool with me each and every time and stick with me through my madness, I love your ass, each and every one of you. Thank you so much. I'll see you Friday. Peace.